Hello, it's Ernesto. I'm an aspiring film composer and I make these videos to document my journey into making that dream a reality. So if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, consider subscribing. In today's video, we're going to go over a cue for the main titles of a little TV show that I got to score a few months back. So let's get right into it. So a little background on the show itself. It's supposed to be like a parody telenovela, which is like really popular. It's a soap opera essentially, and novelas are super popular in Latin America. So this is like in the style of Latin American music. The filmmakers were after something kind of fun, something a little silly, but let me just go ahead and show you the main title sequence with no music. I will be presenting it as it was presented to me at first. Feel free to think of any music in your head while you watch this. So there you go. Now I'm going to play what I came up with for the title sequence. So, as you can see, I went with something a little Cuban. I used a certain style, certain kinds of instruments, and these were all completely stock sounds and plugins that are built into Apple's Logic Pro 10. I knew that it needed to be a little upbeat, I knew that it needed to be a little lively, it had to be of a Latin feel. I started off with the piano, I played some chords at first. This is what I laid down first. So watching it, those are just the chords that I put down, and then after that point, I had to decide on the tempo. So I watched the scene, and I literally just was snapping my fingers as I was looking along at the clip. I'll show you what I mean. I was literally just watching along and going, etc. So the next part that I was a little worried about figuring out was the percussion parts, because it was a very specific sound that I was going for, and I wasn't entirely sure if Logic had those sounds. But fortunately, in Logic's drummer feature, I was able to find something that was kind of what I was going for. So in Logic's drummer, I chose Quincy, the pop percussion virtual drummer, and this beat preset tracking room. I edited a little bit, is just congas, some claps, and a little bit of cowbell, and I liked the way that it sounded. So in the congas, there's a tumbao rhythm, which is a rhythm that comes from Cuba, and I really, really liked the claps that were thrown in there. I thought it gives the piece a little bit of a more fun feel, in my opinion. In context, I think those claps do a lot. Okay, so as you saw, I have the chords of the piano in a separate track as I do the bass line of the piano. And that was just so that I could edit each individually a little easier. But now it was time to start adding instruments and orchestrating. So I decided on a few different instruments that I thought would go well. I ended up cutting a lot, but I think it was all in service of making it sound good. So first thing was the bass part. So bass piano, the chords of the piano. That's what we have. And I added a Barry saxophone, playing in unison with the piano and the bass. And then I added a string bass to it. Now the Barry sax and the rest of the saxophones are from Logic's Studio Horns. I chose a staccato, well, this should say staccato, but in the actual MIDI part it is. It's a staccato rhythm, playing monophonically, and it's just, that's all it is. The baritone saxophone from Studio Horns. Similarly, in the bass, this is from the Studio Strings patch, built into Logic as well. These are really, really good patches, I think, especially for coming with the software. They're quite good. I wish Apple would make this for woodwinds. That would just make it perfect. Now, to go along with the baritone sax, I needed other saxes, so I opened up Studio Horns again, and chose the Little Brazil ensemble patch. So now I played the chords that are in the piano into this patch, and it just orchestrates along different saxophones, like alto and tenor saxes, and plays those chords accordingly. So just the chords go like this. With some bass. Okay, so far we have in our ensemble a piano, saxophones, string bass, and some percussion parts. Added in with percussion, and we have this. I thought I had a pretty good groove going on here. The problem was that there was no melody. I didn't have a melody yet. So I knew that I wanted a trumpet to play the melody because I thought that would give it more of the flavor that we were going for. So I opened up Studio Horns again from Logic's library. Literally, while having this play, I improvised a melodic line. It doesn't make, it doesn't repeat itself that much. It doesn't make much sense, but let me show you anyway what I played into the keyboard. Etc., etc. For the trumpet, I had it in the expressive medium articulation and auto vibrato, 43% apparently. Humanize, 0%. It was much higher than this initially, but it was out of tune slightly with other instruments, and it just, I didn't like it at all. So 0% humanization. But the vibrato and the expressiveness of this articulation is what gives it that lilt, the little move forward when it's playing with the ensemble. And I think it sounds pretty good for being a built-in stock sound that comes with Logic. And I also added a guitar part because I remembered that the executive producer wanted a guitar in there. So. Now, there's a particular moment in this sequence where one of the main characters, the love interest in the show, does a little twirl when her character enters in the opening scene, in the opening sequence. And I thought that there was enough motion there that it warranted something musical to happen at the same time. So I came up with a little harp glissando and some wind chimes playing in the percussion as well. So that part sounds like this. Something small that I thought fit. Later on, some cowbells come in just to add a little bit of variety. Now at this point, I thought I needed a new voice to complement the trumpet, so I included a trombone finally to be the final part of the puzzle here. The trombone is again from Studio Horns in Logic, and this is also playing in the expressive medium articulation, 0 humanization. It has a little more vibrato in it, but let me show you what that sounds like. And for the end there, the little title sequence, when the name of the show, Sin Aire, comes in, you hear these two notes, bum bum, in the piano and the harmonics of the acoustic guitar. This was a patch that I found in Logic as well, in Logic's built-in sound library. I'm such a noob at mixing music. Like I really don't know anything at all. It's it's really bad when I mix music. But I tried my best. I tried to think about where in the ensemble I would have each instrument. So I settled on the piano to my right, saxophones to my left, the guitar would be to the right as well, trumpet would be right in front of me, the closer to the right, the trombone would be next to him on the left. What else here? The string bass would be next to the trombone on the left side as well, and the percussion is technically centered with the cowbell part happening on my right as well. Now when I mixed this, I realized that there wasn't a lot of things competing with the trombone when it came in, so I found that the trombone sound became very forward. It was very bright sound compared to how the trumpet was in terms of the mixing. I won't go too in depth in how I mixed, because I don't think you should take advice from me. I'm not that good at it yet, but I did do some automation, some panning automation for the harp just for the effect, because it's a special effect. Where you see there is automation is in the trumpet and trombone parts, and a little bit in the grand piano, the piano chords. So let me play that with the automation. I also forgot to mention the very last note in the trumpet. If we look into the MIDI here, each of these, the entirety of this performance is expressive medium, but the very last note is a fall long. They're a medium, short. There are a bunch of other fantastic articulations in here that you can take advantage of, but for this note, I just wanted it to at the end there. Let me show you. It just adds a little bit of character to it that I think really adds to the realism of this performance. If you follow my Instagram, you can actually see a lot of the things that I'm working on as I'm working on them, so you don't have to wait that long for these kinds of videos where I break down how I do it. I'll just show what I'm doing at a particular moment. So make sure to follow me over there at Ernesto Composer. But that is really the end of the video here. So I hope that you enjoyed this little breakdown of the main titles for Sin Aire, using entirely stock sounds and plugins from Logic Pro. So no excuses. You can follow my Twitter and my Instagram at Ernesto Composer, and you can visit my website at ernestocomposer.com. I have a lot of cool things over there as well that you should check out. Thank you so very much for watching, and as always, take care.